Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Kimmy Searches. I'm going to be talking about the theme that I'm going for in February. I want to reread some of my childhood favorite books. I thought that would be a fun thing for February. For no reason, I will be reading a few other books, but that's going to be a separate thing. So for this video, I want to just show you the books that I'm going to be reading and like what I remember about them. So I'm not going to be giving like a perfect synopsis because I don't remember what a lot of these are about, but I remember I loved them. So here we go. The first one is The Lost Flower Children by Janet Taylor Liesel. I loved this book as a kid. I don't know why. I remember some vague scene about like children who are turned into flowers, and there's like a lovely little tea party garden scene that I loved as a kid. I don't know what about this I really liked. I liked the imagery of it. So I almost want to read the back, but I don't. I don't really know what I'm doing with this video, so bear with me. It's like kind of an experiment. A lot of these books I remember I liked for the imagery. I liked the imagination behind them, and this is one of them. So obviously children get turned into flowers and someone has to come save them, and I don't remember how any of that happens, but I'm eager to see how much of it I remember once I start reading it, and when I make part 2 of this video where I tell you what I do remember and how much I like it now as an adult. I think when I was a kid, this wasn't one of my favorite books, but I did really like it. It stands out to me, and I always can remember this cover pretty clearly. So we'll see what that's about. I'm excited. The next book I'm gonna do is The Silver Crown by Robert C. O'Brien. This book I remember slightly better than The Lost Flower Children. This book is about a little girl who is orphaned when her house burns down with her family inside of it, and she has to go on some adventure. I don't remember exactly what the adventure is. I remember she is homeless for a while because she doesn't go to the authorities. She just kind of wanders off, and she's got this like silver crown, and that means something, but I don't remember what, and she goes on this adventure. And I remember thinking this book was terrifying as a child. My mom and I used to read together when I was a kid, so that's what a lot of these books were, or books that we read together. We had to stop reading this one several times because I thought it was really scary, and I don't remember what about it I thought was scary. I vaguely remember an evil castle thing, so I don't know if that was it, or like the idea that her family and her home burns down. Like, that would be terrifying as a child too, thinking about that. But I remember once we finally got through this whole book, I really liked it, and this book sticks out to me very strongly in my memories, so I'm excited to read it again. I also have some vague memory of like jelly donuts at the end of it. I guess that was like a new concept to me as a kid or something, because like I really remember the jelly donuts and I don't know why. So I'm excited to read this again and try to figure out what about it was so scary to me. So we'll see. And if you read any of these books as a kid, let me know in the comments below what you think of them or what you thought of them as a kid. Maybe you read some with me if you remember any of these or have them. I don't think anyone will, because these are I think they're kind of more obscure, but that would be super exciting if you will. If not, tell me what your childhood favorite books were, because I'm excited to know. The next one is The Two Princesses of Bamare by Gail Carson Levine. This book, I don't remember much about it. For whatever reason, I could distinctly remember this cover, but for some reason I thought it was about the Boleyn sisters, and like that doesn't make sense. Like, not as a kid, like as a teen and adult, when I remembered this cover, I thought it was about the Boleyn sisters because I could picture this cover really well, but not the title. And now that I'm picking it up, that makes no sense, and I could definitely not figure out why I would have thought that. Like, no child should be reading about the Boleyn sisters. I'm not sure how you would turn that story into something for children, because it's really not. But I liked this book as a kid. I remember that. I don't remember why. I remember that the two sisters that were princesses were like night and day from each other, and one was athletic and one was not. You know, this one was probably the athlete and this one's probably not. I don't remember exactly what happens. I know that they had to go on an adventure together, but I don't remember much else from that. I remember I really liked this book as a kid, though. When I read it, I remember thinking it was like the best book ever, and I thought it was so cool, and I wanted to be a princess, and I was trying to figure out which one I was most like. So I remember those feelings from it, and so I'm really excited to read it again and see if I think it's super, super cheesy now, or what happens with that. But there's this one. Some people might recognize this one. This one was more popular when I was a kid, so if you've read this one, let me know and tell me which princess you think you're like or want to be like. Next one is The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Gouge, I think. This one's going to be hard to see. It's a white cover, so I'll kind of try to, I think that's okay. This book, I don't remember anything about. I remember trying to read it again later, and I thought it was boring. But the thing that really sticks out to me was the imagery from this book. I remember the little girl has to move in with a relative or something who has either a mansion or some kind of small castle or something, and she gets her own room. And I remember loving the room. Like, the door was like carved out of wood, and I always imagined it like just shaved straight off of a tree, like no intricate anything, not even a finish, like just like a piece of thick bark as her doorway. I don't know if that's accurate at all or if that's just like what I came up with. But I think she had like a small like pool in her room, not like swimming pool, like, you know, an ethereal magical pool or something in her bedroom. And I remember thinking that was incredible. And I don't remember much else about this except that I loved her bedroom. I thought it was so cool, and that like has really played a role in my life later on. Like, when I think of magical things, I still remember bits and pieces of this book or what I had imagined from this book as a kid. And so I'm really excited to see how this book is going to influence me, or see how much it has influenced me and my creative tastes all these years later, or to see if I just like made something up as a kid and that's not what this book says at all. Like, I'm excited to find out. I hope you are too. Apparently the white horse was a unicorn. I don't remember that. I don't remember a lion. She's riding the lion. I'm really confused by the cover, but I'm really excited because I remember loving this book as a kid and then trying to read it later and thinking it was boring. So we're gonna see how it goes. I also remember, like, this is the first book I ever saw them talking about like a blue-gray color, and just like the way they described everything was just so well done, and it just inspired my very young mind so much. And I'm really, really excited to read this one again in particular. This is kind of like the entire reason I came up with this video idea, this month's theme. So I hope you're as excited as I am to read this horse book. Actually, the next ones are all just horse books, so I was the weird horse kid. I'm not ashamed to admit it, sort of. The next one is a series. It starts with this one. It starts with Bonita by Kathleen Dewey. I remember this one because it takes place in front of the Alamo or something. I thought it was Spirit's mom. No. Nope. This one, Spirit. If you ever saw the movie Spirit, is a cartoon. Came out when I was a kid, so like early 2000s. I loved this movie so much, and for whatever reason, I thought that Bonita was Spirit's mom. She's not. She's more like his grandmother or something. But it takes place in South Texas, where I'm from, so I was super excited for that as a kid, and it's like horse stories in the area where I'm from, so I loved it. I thought that was so cool. So I think it goes Bonita's the first one, and then I think it's nope. Then I think it goes Sierra. Sierra's a pretty horse. She's got braids in her hair and beads. And then it goes Esperanza, this one. And then Spirits is the last one. I think that's the last one. So I'm going to try to read all of these. I don't remember really anything about the story except for Spirit, which was the movie. I don't remember if this was different. I actually don't remember reading any of these three. I just remember this one. So we'll see if I actually ever read these, if I remember them, but I really liked this one as a kid, so we'll see how it goes. And yeah, I don't remember anything about these except that I loved it because it was a horse book and the Alamo's in it. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what this is actually about, and maybe if it sparks some memories later, because I don't remember anything about these books except that I loved this one and I've been looking for it for years because I couldn't remember. I could sometimes remember the name of it, but I wasn't sure if it was actually Bonita, but I remembered the cover of it, and I've been looking for it for a long time, and I finally just bought it on Thrift Books. So I'm really excited because I've been looking for this for a long time, and I remember reading it, but I don't remember what happened. The last book that I'm going to be reading for this theme in February is Into the Land of the Unicorns by Bruce Coville. Bruce Coville wrote a lot of really popular kids books in like the 80s and 90s. My brother remembers reading a lot of these, and he's older than me. Not this one. Bruce Coville also wrote like Aliens for Breakfast or something. He wrote a whole bunch of stuff. So, if you're looking for really good like kids books, Bruce Coville wrote a whole bunch of different things that cover like all kinds of different interests. This one was one of my favorite books as a kid, if not my actual favorite book. This is the one that I read as a child, and it's like almost falling apart. I really need to take good care of it. The spine is all messed up. I loved this book. This one I do remember is about a little girl who is being chased by a man, and she's with her grandmother, and they're both being chased by a man, and her grandmother gives her a special locket and tells her to do, the magical thing or whatever it is, and it sends her into the land of the unicorns, and I don't remember what it's called, but she goes here, wherever here is, and she meets unicorns, and she meets something that I always thought of as being kind of like Chewbacca, but I don't really remember, and I don't remember his name either. She meets other magical creatures that help her figure out how to get back home to her grandmother, and it turns out her grandmother was like royalty or something in this unicorn land. This is a series too. I only ever remember reading this one and the second one, which is the Song of the Wanderer. I think I might have it right here. This might be it. This is the cover from the second one, but this is more than one of the books. This is, book 1 and 2. So it's this one and the second one, which looks just like this, and it is called Song of the Wanderer. So I remember this unicorn's name is Lightfoot. I have no idea what this thing is or what its name is. There was also something about a dragon or something, and that was just super cool. I don't remember a lot of the plot. I just remember like key points from it. I think like the unicorn queen's name was like Arabella or something. I don't know. I just loved this series, these two as a kid. I don't remember ever reading the third or fourth one, but I loved these two. They were my favorites. Like, this was like the Weird Horse Girl's dream books, I guess, because I thought I was so in love with these books. I went through this phase where I just wanted to draw unicorns all the time and make names for them, like Lightfoot. Like, this one's name is Lightfoot. and I don't know what my deal was, but like I made my own herd, and that's really embarrassing, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I made my own herd of unicorns, and like I would draw them from my friends, and they would name theirs, and we had like unicorn OCs, and it's just like we never did anything with them. I just drew them, but I loved this as a kid, and I'm really excited to read it again and see if I hate it now, because I think I would be okay with that. I think I would be okay now if I thought that like the main little girl is pretentious or something. But I'm super excited to read this. I'm sorry that this is like super uninformative and I told you basically nothing about any of the books, but I just wanted to track how I remember feeling about them and how much of them I remember before I read all of them and tell you what I think now. So, if this works out well, maybe I'll do it again with some other books. I have a whole other stack of books that I liked as a kid or wanted to read that never got around to reading. So we'll see what I end up doing with this. I really hope it turns out well. I'm super excited. So thanks for watching. I hope you watch part 2 where I actually read all of them. And thanks for sticking around, I guess. I don't know. See you next time.